Over the weekend, we had some big news. Private equity investors buying IndyMac from the FDIC. And Jim, you think this has basically created a new environment for banks, and investors should know that this is a time to buy?
Yes, Furnish. First of all, there was some private equity that got involved with banks in National City and also in Washington Mutual, and they were all annihilated. But if you look at who was behind the private equity, they were not smart financial guys. They happened to be smart business people. This is very different. Finance is very different. You can't go into a bank without understanding the nature of the mortgage and the pooled mortgage market. So who's in here? Mnuchin, Steve Mnuchin. Now his dad was he's a very nice guy. I was a friend with him.
Former Goldman Sachs.
Yeah, his dad was my boss at Goldman. Paulson, the guy who bet against all of these mortgages. And what they have three things going for them that I think we really got to point out. One is that apparently IndyMac's been so fully restructured that the FDIC has basically eaten a lot of the bad loans, particularly the option arms that everyone's so frightened about, that 60 Minutes did that good piece on with Whitney Tilson, who's a friend of Street.com from day one. The second thing is I think rates are going to go to 4.5. These are not all jumbo loans. That is going to apply to what so-called conforming loans for Fannie Mae under $700,000. Then finally, remember, I came back from California in November and went to the most hard-hit area, which everyone knows is the Inland Empire. And there was very little for sale. Now, there's a lot of misleading stories. You keep reading that the foreclosures are skyrocketing in these areas. The foreclosures are equal to the buyers. There's no new homes being built. When a house gets foreclosed, it gets bought. That's very different from what people are saying. In that environment, and on sweetened terms, you want to go and buy an IndyMac. I think this is an interesting template. Remember, Wells Fargo, that made a bold move buying Wachovia. I don't know if it's going to pay off immediately, but we've been recommending, and I just bought some Wells Fargo this morning for ActionAlertsPlus.com. People can check that out to see the reasoning. But I think that Mnuchin, quality buyer, rate go down, price of real estate go down, already FDIC pulled bad loans. This says to private capital that has been on the sidelines, I got to call the FDIC, I want in. That's very important. And we have not seen that from the FDIC. We had seen it with Citigroup, but that was really from the New York Fed.
And what would help would be more deals like this. You're saying we could afford some new players.
Well, I mean, look, everybody says that there's going to be this huge ramp of foreclosures. They could be looking at of banks going under. You could look at like a Bank United, BKNUA, a Chorus Bank, but there's a lot of little banks. And if you're going to get this deal for IndyMac, we're now going to see a template. Okay. And we've lacked a template, now we have it.
All right, thanks very much, Jim Cramer. And by the way, Wells Fargo, ActionAlertsPlus.com. You want to get in on the action with Jim, email action@thestreet.com to learn how to get a free membership.